In this episode, I give you my thoughts on the New York Jets versus the New England Patriots. I talk about the 49ers injury bug, and I also give you my five flaming hot picks for the third week of the NFL season. Episode 51 of N1 from the End Zone starts now.
You're watching the latest episode of N1 from the End Zone. Please click on that subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops. Now, let's kick it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into it, I want to take a brief moment to thank all of you guys, my subscribers, for being a part of N1 from the End Zone. As we continue to grow, we have now surpassed over 5,700 subs. The growth has been tremendous. I really do appreciate you guys. I hope you're enjoying this content. And if you are, don't forget to leave a comment. I want to know if you agree or disagree with my takes. And now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into it. So this week on Thursday Night Football, the New England Patriots visited, and I quote, Jet Life Stadium and faced the New York Jets. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Jets laid the smackdown on that Patriot ass 24-3. And my biggest takeaway from this entire game is that the Patriots are doing the right thing by not letting Drake May go out there and play behind that horrific offensive line. Literally this year, let him sit, let him learn the system behind Jacoby Brissett. Let Jacoby Brissett take those hits because we don't want a Bryce Young situation to occur in New England. I'm always rooting for these guys to be successful, and if he can learn from Jacoby Brissett, let Jacoby take those hits because that offensive line is atrocious. And then next year, once they get better pieces, or later on down the road, once that offensive line has real cohesion, then you can insert Drake May. That offensive line was just dismantled by the New York Jet defensive line. And to be completely honest with you, this was the best game the Jets have played this entire year. Aaron Rodgers had a vintage Aaron Rodgers type of game. They are legitimately using the same system that they were running over in Green Bay with Aaron here in New York. I'm not in New York. I'm just referencing, you know what I'm saying? But back to my points here. The Jets, if they can continue to develop the chemistry between the weapons that they have, Jets are going to be fine. I think the Jets and the Bills are going to be competing for the AFC East title, but both of them are actually going to still make the playoffs. And it's going to be a fun and interesting division. Right now, the Patriots, I think the Patriots defense, it was a lot better than what they showed yesterday, in my personal opinion. The reason why they didn't have a really good showing was because the offense was just so atrocious that they were gassed. Like legitimately, if you're only having, I think it was about 10 to 15 minutes of possession while the other team has about 30, you're not giving your defensive players time to recover, and that's gonna for it to only have been a 24-3 game, you got to give credit to that defense because Jacoby Brissett, that offensive line, just horrendous. And it's the smartest thing for the Patriots to let Drake May sit so he doesn't take a huge hit to his confidence once he goes out there and get takes all the hits that Jacoby is currently taking. Because yeah, that was yikes, ladies and gentlemen, yikes. Guys, have you heard? Shady Mob Productions is an official affiliate of HBO Max. Click on the link in the description and sign up so you can watch hit series like Hard Knocks, Game of Thrones, and House of Dragons. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm going to give you my thoughts right now on the 49ers and the injury bug that they have been plagued with recently. Dre Greenlaw is still out, nowhere to be seen anytime soon. Not even going to mention him. Ambry Thomas, one of our top three corners, in my personal opinion. He's out, nowhere to be seen. I believe Talanoa Hufanga is coming back this week, which is going to be great, great to see him back after the injury he suffered last year. Nick Bosa was reported that he might be questionable for Sunday's game against the Rams. We also got Kittle, who's doubtful for that game, Debo, who's going to be out for a few weeks, and then CMC, that's going to be out for an indefinite amount of time, I believe. They said it was 4 to 6 weeks, but it's looking like it's going to be longer. And honestly, I should be a little bit worried and a little bit concerned, but I'm not. I genuinely do believe Brock Purdy is the quarterback for the 49ers and of the future. I like his determination. I like his mindset. I like his personality. In his first 2 years in the league, his rookie year, he got us to an NFC Championship game after both of our guys. The guy that was supposed to save the franchise, Trey Lance, went out after a couple weeks. The guy that they tried to replace desperately with Trey Lance, Jimmy G, got hurt on cue like he usually does after he takes us to an NFC Championship game, and we put it on the Brock, and we saw what happened against the Eagles that first time around. He injured his arm. If he doesn't injure his arm, he might have been in the Super Bowl. Then the following year, once he finally got to actually start, you saw what he was able to do. We saw his capabilities. He had multiple games in the playoffs where he led comeback victories for the 49ers. And he did that, not using the main weapons that we have. Yes, CMC was a huge part of it. I'm not saying he wasn't. But our receivers, he wasn't going to Debo, he wasn't going to Ayuk, he was going to Juwan Jennings. That's why now people are talking about Juwan Jennings. That's why we assigned Juwan Jennings to that extension, and we're gonna have him this year and hopefully next year. People we were talking about Chris Conley either. He was finding Chris Conley in crucial moments in games. And I think Brock Purdy, with the way that he is now, he's seen defenses now 3 years in the NFL. I think he's going to be better. I think he's going to earn his check, even if they lose against the Rams, which I doubt. I got them beating the Rams and covering because the Rams are even more plagued with injuries. I think Brock Purdy is going to take a big step forward in his development, and I think this weekend is a perfect opportunity for him to shut a lot of the criticism up that he needs the Avengers. The Avengers are sidelined for a cool minute. And honestly, I'd rather have them injured and out right now, early on in the season, because later on, when they all are healthy and able to come back, when it's crunch time, when it's go time, they'll be, I know that it's coming off an injury, but they'll be a little bit fresher, and hopefully they'll be able to make a deep playoff run here in January, February during the playoffs. So I believe in Brock Purdy. I believe he's going to be able to take the reins of this team. He's leading the NFL in passing yards this season through the first 2 weeks. And I think he's going to be leading the NFL in passing yards this entire year. He might actually have an MVP campaign. Just wait and see. I think the Niners are going to be the second best team in football, if not the third best team. Kansas City's number one, obviously. But Niners, don't discount them. Don't discount Brock Purdy. Believe in the Purdy because he's pretty damn good. Bang, bang.
If you're in the San Francisco Bay Area and want the best cut of your life, go check out Headspins Barbershop located in South San Francisco, the official barbershop of N1 from the End Zone.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, with the Green Bay Packers having an injury issue to Jordan Love, who might miss this week and next week, they're still up in the air. And if they need a backup quarterback and Malik Willis is not cutting it, which it seems like for Green Bay, it's working out fine. Uh, there's a quarterback that I think they should consider. Same thing goes for the Miami Dolphins with the whole Tua situation. If Skylar Thompson can't step up to the challenge while Tua's away for the next 4 weeks, at least at the bare minimum, there's a good chance he might be gone longer because it's again head trauma. They want to make sure that he's cleared before they put him back out there on the field. I think Mac Jones deserves an opportunity to go and earn the starting spot for these teams while their quarterbacks are recovering. Mac Jones in his rookie year was the best quarterback in his class, made a Pro Bowl, made the playoffs, led the Patriots to a winning record. His downfall was the fact that Joe Judge and Matt Patricia were his offensive coordinator once Josh McDaniels left. Under Josh McDaniels, a real legitimate offensive coordinator, the offense with Mac Jones, he knew how to mitigate that disaster, especially with Bill Belichick being the head coach. As soon as Josh McDaniels left, they went with Matt Patricia and Joe Judge. We saw what happened to Mac Jones. The following year, they tried to go back to Bill O'Brien, but by that point, the damage had been done. His confidence had been shot. You put Mac Jones in the situation where you have Mike McDaniel or you have Matt LaFleur. He's been to his backup before in college. It's nothing new to him. They're friendly. Tua could help him out. Mac Jones could resuscitate his career similar to the way that Baker Mayfield resuscitated his career once he went out with Sean McVay for that short stint. So I really do think Miami, if they want to compete and Skylar Thompson isn't cutting it out, they should really consider going after Mac Jones. Zach Wilson, I don't think is a reasonable fit. He had Matt LaFleur's brother, Mike LaFleur, as his offensive coordinator in a similar system to the Shanahan system. And Zach Wilson could not grasp it. We saw what Zach Wilson looked like in that system. It doesn't work with Zach Wilson. Mac Jones, however, the Niners were considering to draft him. They ultimately went with Trey Lance, but he was on our draft board. They did consider him for a reason. You put Mac Jones with Mike McDaniel, I think you can expect the Miami Dolphins to win some actual games if Skylar Thompson can't cut it out. But again, Skylar Thompson, he's proven me wrong. He played very well the last time he took over for Tua, so we'll wait and see.
Guys, join me, Alex the Man Angelov, and check out A&A Radio, where we're going to be talking about the latest and greatest financial news, investments, banking, and personal finance. Check out the channel and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for my 5 flaming hot NFL Week 3 picks. Let's get into it. Number 1, the Browns -6.5 over the New York Giants. Deshaun Watson, if he can have a game similar to the one that he had last week, he just has to take care of the ball. The Browns defense should be able to carry them. Literally, I don't see the Giants scoring any real points. Their only real offensive weapon is Malik Neighbors. I don't believe in Daniel Jones. I think the defense for the Cleveland Browns is one of the best in the league. And also, they have great weapons. Jerome Ford is good. Nick Chubb, I think, is still a couple weeks away from returning. They got Amari Cooper and David Njoku. If Deshaun Watson can start finding his weapons, I think the Browns game is going to be a blowout for the Browns against the New York Giants. When it comes to the Ravens versus the Cowboys, I don't think the Ravens are going to go 0-3. I also know the Dallas Cowboys have an issue when they face a run-dominant offense, especially when they are that physical like the Baltimore Ravens. I know their defense has been struggling. It's definitely going to be a shootout in my opinion, but I think the Ravens, they're going to be able to muster out this win, especially because their season's on the line. They're desperate. The Ravens -1 is the side. I believe in two-time reigning MVP Lamar Jackson. The Ravens have enough weapons on both sides of the ball. Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews are great tight ends who can catch the ball. Bateman, I feel like needs to get a little bit more opportunities, and they just need to feed the ball to Derrick Henry. Feed the ball to Derrick Henry. This is a Derrick Henry type of game, so feed the ball to Derrick Henry, and you guys should have no issues beating the Cowboys handedly. When it comes to the 49ers -6.5 over the Rams, take the Niners, take the points. Yes, I know Kittle is out. I know Debo is out. I know Trent Williams allowed a sack last week. I know CMC's injured, and he might not be back in the timeline that they set for him originally when they placed him on IR. That doesn't matter. I believe in Brock Purdy. I've seen what Brock Purdy can do, especially when the other weapons are struggling, even if they're on the field. I also believe that Jordan Mason is going to be able to carry the workload. This is a game and this is a rivalry that Kyle Shanahan has dominated over Sean McVay. Yes, I understand we have lost in the playoffs, especially the year that they won the Super Bowl. But Brock Purdy, I don't believe, has ever lost to the Los Angeles Rams in the regular season, and I don't foresee that happening. And I also think because the Rams are even more injury depleted, yes, Nick Bosa, there was a report that he's questionable, but we're getting Hufanga back this week. On the defensive side of the ball, we got all our dogs. We got Leonard Floyd, we got Devondre Campbell, we still got Fred Warner, who's playing at an elite level. Nick Bosa's still there. We got Javon Hargrave. Our corners, Diamador Lenore. We got Tre'Davious Ward. We're good. Jair Brown, I think he is one of the better safeties. He's still developing in his second year. Our defense is going to be able to stop the Los Angeles Rams. Shout out to the St. Louis Rams. And I also believe that Juwan Jennings, especially with Brandon Ayuk, are two solid best receivers on the team. Chris Conley, during the offseason, he was getting a lot of reps while Brandon Ayuk was away, so I'm assuming he might be the number 3 receiver this week. If not, they should also give Jacob Cowing a look. I think he might surprise and do amazing things, especially now that Debo's gone. He might be able to fit in that Debo role, especially because he is a speedster. So take the Niners, take the points. This is going to be a Brock Purdy shows up and shows out. The Rams are starting 0-3. It's not because Matthew Stafford is a bad quarterback. It is just because they are so injury depleted on that side of the ball. And they're just so injury depleted that I just don't see them being able to muster out a win against the 49ers or even keeping it close. Cardinals +3 over the Detroit Lions. I like the Cardinals at home. The head coach for the Arizona Cardinals is a defensive-minded head coach. I also like how Kyler Murray has taken care of the ball. In 52 pass attempts, he's thrown for 428 yards and thrown for 4 touchdowns, not allowed a pick. He hasn't fumbled the ball. I also don't really believe in the Detroit Lions defense. I think Kyler Murray, his dual threat capabilities, is going to be able to open up that game. Marvin Harrison Jr., I think he's going to have another tremendous game. He has 5 catches this season for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think this is going to be a great game for Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray. And I also, for some reason this year, Detroit, Jared Goff has struggled to take care of the ball. Every time he's thrown the ball 83 times and thrown 3 picks for 524 yards. So he's not only just throwing the ball and throwing picks, he's also dinking and dunking and still throwing interceptions, which is costing them. And I honestly am a strong believer in the Arizona Cardinals this year. I know they're a team in my division. If they're facing my Niners, you know who I'm going to pick. But realistically, my non-biased opinion, take the Arizona Cardinals +3 to upset Detroit. And then I got the Washington Commanders covering +7.5 over the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals get the win. Washington covers. Dan Quinn is a defensive-minded head coach. I believe he's going to be able to figure out a way to shut down the Cincinnati Bengals, especially because I believe T. Higgins is still out. Jamar Chase, I know he was limited in the offseason program. And yes, it's week 3, so you might be working out that rust, but they still don't have a run game. Dan Quinn, I believe, is going to be able to take away their one main weapon. If they can neutralize that, I think it's going to be a closer game. I think it'll be a 6 to 5 point game where the Bengals end up winning because Jaden Daniels is still figuring out the NFL game. But because Jaden Daniels is such a mobile, such a versatile quarterback in that aspect, similar to Lamar Jackson, he'll be able to get out the pocket. They got Terry McLaurin out there. They got a great running back. Take the Washington Commanders +7.5 to cover against the Bengals, but take the Bengals to win. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, those are my 5 flaming hot NFL picks for week 3 of this NFL season. Moving on.
Guys, you're watching a Shady Mob production. Make sure to follow the Shady Mob podcast where we break down all the latest content and talk about life. Please make sure to share, like, comment, and subscribe so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
It's time for Empowering with Positivity. Guys, for this Empowering with Positivity segment, I just wanted to remind you guys to follow your dreams, set goals, set standards for yourself, and don't be afraid to take that first step in doing something that you think will ultimately benefit you. Yes, it is scary. Yes, it may not work the first time you attempt something, but don't ever give up. Desire genuinely is power, and if you desire to be great, you have the power to be great. You just have to take that first step, and you have to make sure that you feel secure about what you're doing. Even if you don't be afraid to try something new. Success, Rome, everything wasn't built in a day. And if you guys are genuinely passionate about something and you sink your teeth into it, you'd be surprised on what you can accomplish in a matter of months, days, weeks. It just depends on what you guys are trying to accomplish and you guys are trying to do. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, guys, please subscribe, like, and comment on the video. Share this with your friends, families, and partners. Make some money with my picks, listen to my sports takes, or just watch for some positivity. Always remember, desire is power, and if you desire to be great, you have the power to be great. Thank you for watching another episode of Unwin from the End Zone. I love and appreciate you guys. Stay tuned for more.